welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley, and if you're not new here, welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Glamlite Horror Knockout. There is actually another episode prior to this one that you might want to check out before watching this one. Don't want to give away any spoilers, but if you have seen that one, that was between Ghostface and Jason, so I used the Glamlite Horror Collections, and I talked about the movies while I put on makeup. And the result of that one, I'll not give it away, but you might want to go back and watch that video. Today, we are going to be doing a knockout between Chucky and Freddy. So I'm going to use items from both of these collections from Glamlite. Today, I'm going to be focusing on Freddy. So I picked up the mirror. This was actually a last minute purchase. I wasn't going to bother with the mirror because I don't really like it. The handles, it's not flush to the hand. It's a little bit stabby in the corners. I do like the artwork, however. It's a decent sized mirror. Stockist for Australia for Glamlite had a sale, and this was, I think, like 25 bucks. I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna keep rolling with the themes. I had the mirrors for the Ghostface and Jason collection. So part of the collection, there was 2 eyeshadow palettes in the Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street collection. They came out with a blush trio. There was 2 lipsticks. There was some makeup brushes, I believe. Obviously one of the bags, but I only got the lipsticks, the cheek palette, and I got the eyeshadow palettes, but I'm only going to be using one of the eyeshadow palettes today. This is what the cheek palette looks like. So you've got your lenticular cover. It's called Chest of Souls, and this is what it looks like inside. Nice colour story there, nice and bright. I've used this a couple of times before. I just danced the brush across the full 3 colours. I'm just going to be sticking with this colour today though. I don't want to be too bright. Oh, note the earrings. My partner bought me these, especially for these videos. I'm not entirely sure that the blood on the ends of the knives is necessary, but here we are. Lipstick. So this is the lipstick I'm going to be using today. Component's really cute. I say cute, it's not. It's got these stabby hands on, and he's black and I think it's green and red striped jumper, but it's black on here. This is the colour of the lipstick, and the bullet has little spiders on it, which I'm not sure of the relevance. I don't know if I've seen any spiders when I've been watching the Freddy Krueger movies. And then we're going to be using the Freddy Krueger palette. So again, the lenticular cover, and the colour story is a grungy dream or nightmare. See what I did there? So I'm going to focus on these colours here, these 2 here, and I'm considering these 2 here. I might blend this out with this also. I think that is the colour story that I'm going to focus on. So these 3 and these 2 for this video. Very excited. I haven't primed my eyes. Let us do that first. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the lip on first because it's so dark. I just want to make sure I'm not going too heavy on the eyes. So I am going to line first, and this is Chestnut by MAC. So it's a nice brown pencil, very dark brown. And I'm just going to line with that. There we go. And then we're going to put this on. I don't know what this shade is called. It doesn't have a name. We're just going to call it Dark Freddy. Ooh, it's like a wine colour. I really like that. That's really lovely. That's definitely an Ashley lip. I am now going to use the darkest shade in here for the blush, and I'm just going to use the FO6, it's called, by Singe. So these are pigmented, so I'm just going to put a bit on the brush, and then I'm going to tap it on the back of my hand before putting it on my face. That is very pretty. very pigmented. Just one tap does this. I'm going to put some across the nose, and I always just dust whatever's left across the forehead and the chin just to tie it all together. It's so pigmented, that blush. I love it. Okay, let's move on to the eyes. So, like I said, we'll go in with that dark colour first. So it's Asylum, this colour here. I'm going to put that through the crease. I'm going to try not to go too crazy, but I am going to use the AO3, which is this lovely shaped brush, and go into that. So let's talk about the movies. There is 12 million movies. Hang on, let's say exactly how many movies there is for Freddy Krueger. Well, Nightmare on Elm Street, shall we? A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So let's have a look. Films. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 movies. Of those, I have seen 1, 2. That's it. Interesting. I actually watched one last night. I watched Freddy vs. Jason last night because it was Friday the 13th yesterday. So let's talk about, I've seen the first movie and the Freddy vs. Jason. I would be interested to watch, I'm sure everyone says the 4th one's the best one, the Dream Master. I might just try and work my way through them all, but they're all not available on streaming services. You have to pay for them, and that's the thing. I'm like, do I want to pay for these? Alright, so that, I love the Glamlite formula, I do, and that colour's going on like a dream. Nice, gorgeous, khaki green. Okay, so the first movie. I have got a soft spot for 80s horror movies. I wouldn't say I was a horror movie buff, because what even is a buff? But I definitely like horror movies. And I think the reason I love 80s horror movies is it's, you know, it's still quite satire in a way, and it's easier to digest than some of the movies that are out that are ridiculously graphic. They're not realistic 80s horror movies. They're more, I don't know, I want to say it like cartoony in a way, but I know what I mean. I know what I mean. It's just, they're easier to watch, except for Halloween. Oh, and that's a story for another day and for another episode. Okay, so I made some notes. So when I was watching the first one, did you know that Johnny Depp is in that movie? I don't know if it is his first movie, because he's very, very young, and he's got absolutely wonderful dress sense because it's the 80s. So obviously he's wearing like crop t-shirts, oversized sneakers and jeans, and he just looks so, so cool. For those who don't know, the premise of Freddy Krueger is a guy who has knives for fingers, and he comes for you in your dreams. So it is a movie of pretty much loads of teenagers trying to keep themselves awake so as not to fall victim to Freddy Krueger. Now, when I was younger, I mistook the plotline and I thought Freddy Krueger was a paedophile. But he wasn't. He was a child killer who actually lived in the town, and the parents took revenge on him when they found out it was actually him. So you find this out towards the end. This is absolute spoilers. I am sorry, but it's been out since Pussy was a kitten. So if you haven't seen it, it's your own fault. So basically, I just admire that. Loveliness. Lovely little smoke there. So basically, it starts off, there's kids in a town, and one of them dies. There's a few of them that die, and they start to realise it's this character, Freddy, and they don't know where he's come from and why he's there, and basically they're just trying to keep themselves awake while all of their friends get picked off one by one. It's comical. So Freddy's was burned in a boiler room, so he's got burns all over his face, and he comes back for the kids. So I was just tiddly watching this by myself, and the notes that I made were, it was Wes Craven, which I didn't realise. And one of the things I noticed is, so Wes Craven was the same person who did Scream, or at least the original one. I'm not too sure about the rest of them. But the cop is the same cop that was in Scream in the first one. I think in the first Scream I thought he was a bit of a red herring because he had black boots on, but then anyone who had black boots on I suspected that they were Ghostface. There is some absolutely ridiculous things within the movie that I just couldn't, like, I don't know how anyone took it seriously, to be honest, because I've got friends who are absolutely terrified of Freddy Krueger, and they can't be in the same room as anyone who's dressed as him or if there's anything or what have you. But there was a girl's lying in bed and she's screaming and Freddy comes for her and he's in her dreams and he's obviously shredding her up, like a nightgown and stuff, because that's what he kind of does. He feeds off fear. So he tries to scare kids, and the more they're scared of him, the stronger he gets. So he comes into this girl's dream and he's shredding her nightgown, and a man walks into the room and says, when she wakes up, she's like, "Oh no, Mum, I've just had a dream." And she said, "Well, cut your nails or quit dreaming like that." And that, what? Cut your nails or quit dreaming like that? Like, how long are your nails to shred a nightgown like that? There was also a friend dies and then the friend just goes straight back to school. Straight away the next day. Like no grieving, no nothing. Straight away. Straight back to school. If I haven't already said it, I love Glamlite's formula. I really, really do. I'm going to go in with Burned, which is the black, just to intensify the corners of the eye. So I've got here that the score was fire. I'm assuming I'm talking about, well, I know I'm talking about the music in the movie, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what kind of music it is. But me, in my tipsy stupor on this Friday evening, must have really enjoyed the music in this movie. I've also put that the colour schemes have nailed it, and that was one thing I did notice. So the colour schemes of both palettes, the palettes are amazing. It is very much like the movie and the colour scheming of the movie and the colour stories, very, very similar. So they've done really, really well there. Part of, obviously, as I mentioned, Freddy trying to get get them scared and raise their fear. There's one scene where he's chasing this girl around the neighbourhood and she ends up in like this alleyway, and he starts walking down the alleyway, and not that he isn't terrifying enough to look at with, you know, knives for fingers, but it's not, he's got a glove, and then he's got a burned head, and you know, he's a lewd, horrible old man. His arms grow to like scrape down the sides of the alley, but only one is long enough to touch the alley wall, and the other one's just kind of hanging there. Very bizarre choice. Very, very bizarre. There's a scene where he's on the phone and then the tongue comes out of the phone and licks her. He is very quite, they make him quite like sexually charged, I feel. And it's a bit gross and it's creepy as, and I mean, he's already terrifying. You don't need that element to it, but I think that was part of the movies, wasn't it? There's always some naked chick with her boobs bouncing around all over, and there's always like sexual innuendos. But yeah, he's just a lewd, horrible, gross old man. So as I said before, they're trying to keep themselves awake, and there's this one scene where Johnny Depp rings his girlfriend. Are they girlfriend and boyfriend? I think they are, but they live across the street. And he rings her, and basically he's like trying to keep her awake, and they're trying to keep each other awake. And she's having a phone conversation with him, and she tells him that she hasn't been asleep for 7 days. I find that really, really, really hard to believe. Obviously her parents are worried about her because she hasn't been sleeping, she's been screaming in class because she's fallen asleep and Freddy's attacked her, and then her friends have died, so her parents are worried about her, so she pretends that she's doing okay and she's trying to sleep, and she pretends she's asleep when her mum comes in the room, and then she goes out, and then when her mum leaves the room, she pulls a coffee maker out from underneath the bed that has been plugged in, and it's got a fresh jar of coffee sitting there. Just like, this is a bit of a stretch. I'm just going to go into knives, which was that khaki colour, just to bring this forward. Oh, that's a bit too much. It's quite pigmented. I'm just going to bring this into the front of the eye. Just want something a little bit softer. So against all of their attempts to defeat Freddy, Johnny Depp comes to a terrible, terrible end. He falls asleep. And basically he gets sucked down into his bed like that, and then blood just out everywhere, all over the ceiling. It's not graphic, it's just ridiculous. But you know, that's what 80s movies were like. And the cop, because you know, they're just not really, there's just no sort of care there. Not the cop, the paramedics, when they're going upstairs to see Johnny Depp. I don't know if it's the cop saying this, the paramedic, but it says you don't need a stretcher up there, you need a map. Like, family are around, it's so lovely. So while this is happening, the girl is trapped over the road. Johnny's dead. Johnny is dead. Freddy Krueger is terrorising her while they're all paying attention over in Johnny's house. And one of the cops sees that, I think it's her dad's the police captain, I think that's what it is. And he sees that she's stood at the window screaming, and he goes, maybe I better tell the captain. She's like smashing out of her bedroom windows. Hilarious. Meanwhile, a mam's in the house, and Freddy takes a mam. A mam just disappears. I think she just disappears into the bed as well. And the dad's like broke into the room, and they watch her just disappear into the bed. I might be wrong there. But the girl just turns and looks to her dad and says, I'll be down in a minute. Oh, she'd been burned alive, that was it. And disappeared into the bed, the mum. Like, obviously, I think because the mum did that to Freddy, he does it to her. They set him a light in a boiler room. And he sets her alight and pulls her into the bed. And then the girl just turns to her dad and just says, I'll be down in a minute. And he just walks downstairs and leaves her. So random. And then you don't really know what goes on. Like, I'm fairly sure that she has a little bit of a tussle with him, and then suddenly she's not scared of him anymore, and he doesn't have the power that he had before. I forget, I can't really remember how it ends. But you think that she's come out on top, and she's leaving with all of her friends to go to school, and they, like, a mum comes out and she's like, it's all over now, baby, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly Johnny Depp's alive again in a car, and they get into the car and they're driving off to school, and she's standing waving, and then suddenly the car roof goes up because it's convertible, because everyone drove a convertible in the 80s, obviously. And it's suddenly the colour of Freddy's jumper, it's green and it's red striped, and then it's him as a car consuming the kids that are in it, and they're all screaming trying to get out. And then suddenly there's, do you know the doors, how they have the little windows like this, the mum's standing in front of the door, and then Freddy's arms come out through the glass and pull her in through this tiny little window. And that is the end of the movie. So that is why I rather enjoy 80s movies, because it's really hard to be scared by that, but at the same time it's still entertaining enough to keep you entertained, I suppose. So yes, that's the first movie. And I said in the last one that was I around for the birth of like teen horror flicks, and that was why it was so nostalgic to us, but absolutely not, because like every movie from the 80s was teen horror. Everything included teenage girls and teenage boys in school, so I was full of shit. So I retract my statement regarding that. Okay, I'm done with the maths now. We're gonna move on to shimmers. Oh, I suppose I better do the bottom lash line, but maybe I'll do that after I've done the shimmers. Hey, I'm just gonna make sure this is even, because I feel like this is a little bit higher than what it is on here. Have I done it a little bit too high? Maybe I have. Okay, so we're gonna go in with this shimmer here. No, we're not. Yes, we are. It's called Boiler Room. And that is where Freddy was burned alive. So I'm going to pick it up. I love Glamlite's formula. I really bloody do. This one's a little bit stiffer than they normally are, but I am still going to spray it so we don't get any fallout. Yes. And I'm going to put this in the middle. Glorious. Okay, so as I said, I watched Freddy vs. Jason last night, with it being Friday the 13th yesterday. Straight away, we started the scene with a woman with ginormous fake breasticles, stripping off completely buck naked to get, is it buck naked or is it butt naked? Anyway, she's completely naked to get into a lake to go swimming. Now, no one in their right mind is getting in a lake and going swimming completely naked at night. No one. Because, imagine the creatures. Imagine the creatures, it would just be awful. Anyway, Jason is around. She gets out of the water because she's scared. Apparently there was somebody called Mike there. She keeps shouting for this Mike. You never see him, like. And she gets out of the water, puts just a shirt on, so obviously it's clinging to her, and then she's just running around the forest. Then she's running quite a way. She's like ran down a jetty, ran across like some embankments, and then suddenly he's walking out of the mist, and like he was miles away from you. What's freaked you out that you've had to run towards him half naked? I don't understand. But anyway, that happened. And then suddenly she gets a machete through her head and she's pinned to a tree. And then you suddenly hear Mrs. Voorhees talking, which is Michael's mum. And if you don't know, she is the killer in the first Friday the 13th. And she came back to, well, she killed everybody to avenge her son because they let him drown because they were having sex when he was at summer camp, so they let him drown. So anyway, his mother's back, and basically, oh, that's not how the movie starts. The movie starts, I'm just talking away here, sorry, I should tell you what I'm doing. This is called Killer. I'm just going to meld these two together because there's a bit of a seam. It's quite nice though. I like it a lot. It's like a little duochrome situation. It's very nice. Yeah, so the scene actually starts, the movie starts, sorry, with Freddy giving a monologue about how people aren't scared of him anymore and kids chased him out of town, etc, etc. I'm just going to put some more matte back on here, and then I'm going to kind of just tap to try and get a little bit of a gradient there. Nice. So yes, that's how it starts. Freddy's woe is me, no one's scared of us anymore, and he says he's going to use somebody to get the kid's fear back up, and it's Jason. So anyway, we'll get back to the bit where he's pinned that girl to the tree, and his mother's speaking to him, saying the kids on Elm Street are really naughty, Jason, you need to go and teach them a lesson, blah blah blah, that's Mammy's little boy. And because he is a mama's boy, even though he's 7'10", with a huge machete, he goes to Elm Street to kill some kids there. So there's a girl there, Kelly Rowland's in it, from Destiny's Child, which I completely forgot. So there's people there, they're having a party, obviously. There's sex straight away. And then one of the kids gets killed. He gets stabbed repeatedly by Jason with a machete, and then he's on a bed and it gets folded up and he's lying on his front, so his back breaks like that. It's very graphic. So then they all run away. They decide the best thing to do is to go to a party in a cornfield. So they do that, try and get over their dead friend. Meanwhile, another kid who was at that party gets killed, and his dad. They go to this cornfield, and then Jason comes into the cornfield and starts killing people. And then they all start talking about how they've been having dreams about Freddy. And Freddy's trying to get back to them. He's using Jason to build the fear. Two kids who know about Freddy have been put into a mental institution because the town, I've got fallout and glitter all over me nuts, because the town want to keep the whole thing about Freddy under wraps, because if people start talking about him, he'll come back. So they've basically sectioned two kids so that Freddy doesn't get power again and come back. So it's quite smart. But they don't know that's why they've been sectioned, and they were getting drugged while they were in there, so they couldn't dream about Freddy. So they realised that they never had any dreams when they were at this place, so they break in to get all of the drugs that they were given to not dream. So while they're there, Jason comes. They had a little bit of a back and forward in terms of like trying to defeat him. He kills a cop. Freddy comes in, and there's a stoner in it. There's always a stoner in these movies. Freddy comes in as a caterpillar while one guy's smoking weed, and then convinces this kid to, by going down his throat, convinces this kid to pour these drugs down the sink so they can't stay awake. And then while they are fighting Jason, this kid who Freddy's gone into fills up two huge, what do you call them? Syringes with stuff, tranquilizer, to take Jason down. He's done that, then they take him in a van, Jason, and then they realise that they're going to use Jason to kill Freddy. So they basically get this lass pumped full of drugs. She goes in because she's going to pull Freddy out, because she realises she can do that. At some point in the movie she has a dream and he gets on her and she pulls his ear off, and when she wakes up she's still got his ear in her hand. So this is all going on. They drive back to Camp Crystal Lake, where Jason drowned in the first place because it was his stomping ground, and they're gonna basically set up a fight between Freddy and Jason. Makes perfect sense, right? It was a nice change of pace, this one, because kids actually react to deaths. I mean, they don't grieve as much as what you would expect them to, but they still react. Like in the first one, she's like, yeah, I'm just going to school, it's fine, yeah, don't worry about it. I know that my best friend's dead, but it's absolutely fine, man, honestly, I'll be fine, I'm just going to go to school. So it was nice that they actually reacted. Freddy's narration's just mad. He's still the lewd old man, but he's even like more sarcastic. And he says the word bitch a lot. And I don't know if you've seen Rick and Morty, but they've got, what's he called? He's not called Freddy Krueger, he's called Teddy something or other. Scary Teddy. And he's basically Freddy Krueger, and all he does is say bitch. And that is because that's pretty much what Freddy Krueger does. Just runs around saying bitch all the time. Okay, how's this looking? I actually quite like it. I need to do something with the bottom lash line though, because it's I feel a little bit bold. I'm going to use the E07. I keep forgetting to tell you what my brushes are. This is what I put the shimmer on with. It's the E01. Da, da, da. It's very dirty now. So I'm going to use the E07, which looks like this. And I'm going to use pretty much the same colours again on the bottom. So that Asylum, that first dark green, I'm going to put that on the bottom lash line. Maybe it's like 2/3 of the way. No, I'll probably go half the way in. I also forgot to mention the main character is Abby from Dawson's Creek. Was she called Abby? I'm sure she was. She was Jen's friend. Do I keep putting this mirror in front of my face? I'm sure she was Jen's friend. Well, I'm not sure. I know she was Jen's friend. And the thing I'm not sure about is what she was called. And I'm sure it's Abby. Why is Abby Morgan in my head? Was it Abby Morgan? I'm going to have to find out now. Hold, please. Abby Morgan, she was Jen's friend. She was a right little bitch. She caused a lot of trouble, and then she died because she got drunk and she fell off a dock and died. And then Jen was like, nobody liked her, but I liked her because she was the villain we all loved to hate, or something like that. I'm going to take that second colour Knives on the EO4 and I'm going to buff that out. But yeah, she's the main character. It's not bad. I mean, it's not good by like movie standards now, but it's not bad. It's like a Friday night movie, like something daft. Like, you know, I'm going to use Tremors as an example, but I bloody love Tremors, so that's probably a bad example. Okay, so I am just going to take a little bit more of Asylum on this brush here, and I'm just going to do it in this corner here because the dark's kind of flicked down into my crow's feet, and I've realised I've not connected. I'm going to take a smaller brush actually. I'm going to take the EO2 and just do it here. Maybe pick up a bit of that bend as well, the black, and just intensify the corner. Alright, we have actually got room for another shimmer in the front, which I don't know is a good idea, but we're still going to do it. There is one here called Haunt. No, I'm going to go Common. Can't make my mind up. Common for You, this one here. That's what we'll do. It's like an olivey green. So that's all I really got in terms of for the movies. I can't really give you much more detail than that. I've never been afraid of Freddy Krueger. It doesn't scare us. I mean, if he came for us, I'd probably be scared. Maybe that'd be alright. But I don't want to tempt fate, so don't come for us, Freddy, please. Okay, my partner's now talking to the neighbours, so I'm going to jump off camera and I'm going to put some mascara on and something in the waterline and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I chucked Victoria Beckham's sequin green liner in my waterline, applied mascara, and then I took a little bit of Skin Glaze by Cash Beauty and then dotted it on the inner corners because there isn't anything for an inner corner unless you want to use Killer, which is what I've already used on the front of my eyes. I think this is just a bit too dark for an inner corner. So the palette itself, mattes performed beautifully. The shimmers are not what I'm used to from Glamlite. They're not bad, they're just not what I'm used to. I am concerned about the amount of fallout. Concerned's the wrong word. I'm not concerned, there's just a lot of fallout. It's all over my face. I think if I was going somewhere, I would be a bit peeved about it. But I'm not going anywhere, so it's not really a problem. And I did go in quite heavy because I've obviously assumed that they're going to perform the same way that other Glamlite shimmers do. The lip is probably going to be one of my firm favourites because I love this colour. It's so yummy, especially with that chocolate brown liner. Beautiful. And the blush palette. Great fan of this anyway. Just have to be careful, it's very pigmented. So overall, I'm very pleased with this collection. I'm excited to delve into the second part of the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. But for now, I'm going to send you over to the second look with Chucky. Bye. Alright, we're back. It's a slightly hotter day today. I'm trying not to sweat my base makeup off. And a whole lot of motorbikes have gone past, and that's probably going to be a common theme throughout this entire video. Me complaining about how hot it is and the motorbikes going past. So we're just going to keep it really cool and calm and collected. And we're going to talk about the Chucky palette franchise. Was it called Chucky or was it called Crazy in Love? I don't know. Anyway, so from that, didn't originally want to pick it up. I've seen a lot of people using the Chucky palette. I thought it was pretty one-dimensional, and then I seen it and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get it. So I've got a couple of things from the collection here, so I'll just take you through what I've got. So first of all, I got the mirror. The mirror is a lot smaller and is a lot lighter. So when I actually picked it up, I was, whoo, because everything else is a little bit bulkier. So I've got the mirror. Then I picked up the Love, what's it called? Love, Honor and Obey, the blush duo kit. Now it's got the lenticular cover. There was talk of this being the same blush shade, but mine is definitely two different colours. I don't know if that was something that happened in America, but definitely I've got the two different shades there. So that, I'm still making my mind up. I have used it before. I just don't know if Definitely not the light pink one, but I don't know what the darker pink one is for me. Then picked up the Tiffany lip kit. So this is what it looks like. Got a little tiff on the front there. And it's this gorgeous colour, like a wine colour with very cool embossing on it there. And with that comes a lip liner, and it is a pencil. Always perplexes me the difference in components for lip liners and lipsticks when it comes to Glamlite. And then of course we have the Chucky palette, and I think it's called the Crazy in Love. This is what it looks like. See what I mean by thinking it was very one-dimensional, but when you actually see it in person, it's not. There's a lot of different tones in there. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put the blush on in the lip. I'm going to see what that looks like, and then I'm going to make a decision on the actual eyeshadow. So we're going to start with blush first. I am going to dip into this one. I just think it's more my speed than this one. Also, I really don't think that these colours kind of match the collection. Just my personal opinion. It's very, very pigmented, as you can see. I will dot on the back of my hand before I touch my face. See? One dot. And you can see the payoff is there. I'm just going to pick up off the back of my hand rather than going back into the palette. I mean, look at that. That is something I will say about this. Extremely pigmented. Look at that. Put some on the nose. With these darker or more bright pigmented blushes, I always start at the back of the cheek. It's a little bit more forgiving there than bringing it forward rather than putting it here and then trying to blend it out, which is what I've done on this side. I always put a bit of blush on the forehead and the chin just to tie it together. Right, okay, I think I'm going to leave it there for the blush until we kind of get a little bit more of a feel of what this is going to look like. So I'm going to line my lips now. I have had lip balm on today, so they should be nicely moisturised. So the liner is a brown liner with a slight plummy undertone to it. Plum? Maybe it's more burgundy, we'll see. So I'm just doing a little bit blending with the finger. I very much like that. I need to fix this side of my lip up. It's a bit wonky, and there is a spot there that I must conceal. It's not a spot, it's just something that's been there for flipping ages and just doesn't want to go away. So I'm going to just take some soft matte on the 20 from KJH just to neaten that lip line up, because yeah, it's just staying there forever. Okay, let's go in with this lipstick. Don't know if it's got a shade name, I'm just going to call it the Tiffany lipstick. The bullet feels loose in the component. Ugh. That is gorgeous. So as you can see, it's a very dark vampy colour. I enjoy that a lot. That's really, really beautiful. So, the lips are very vampy. I did think it was going to be a lot brighter, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to use contrasting colours. So I'll go for cool tones on the eye. So I think what I'm going to go in with is this, and then stick to these kinds of colours here, I believe, for the lids. Maybe a little bit of this in the front. Yes, that is what we're going to do. So the eyelids are already primed. Going to go in with the EO3, my trusty favourite brush. And then I'm going to pick up It's Time to Play. So it's like a charcoal grey, probably has like a bit of a bluey undertone. Slight hint of blue. I should mention that obviously I've got the earrings back in, but I also like to kind of dress on the theme. So when I was doing the Freddy Krueger, I had the green jumper. When I was doing the Friday the 13th, again had like the green khaki shirt on, and then when I was did the ghost face, I was in black. I don't have anything that's striped, nor do I have dungarees, so I thought I'd wear this blue top, and obviously we've got the hair that represents Chucky. I actually watched Chucky, well, Child's Play. That's what the movie franchise is called, Child's Play. I'm not too sure how many they've got. Let me double check that. Why is it so hard to find it? I literally watched it last night. It's because I haven't put an apostrophe in. How annoying. So you've got Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and then Child's Play again. I have seen the original Child's Play. I've seen Bride of Chucky, potentially Seed of Chucky, and then Child's Play. So I am way behind on this movie franchise. So the initial Chucky, Child's Play I should say, probably watched that when I was, I'm gonna say 13 or 14, just going back to my Blockbuster days of going to the video shop. I would have gotten it on DVD, I imagine. Maybe I would have gotten it on video. My mum was out and I remember watching it with my friend, and we came out on the landing and there was this get big walking doll thing that my sister used to have. I don't think she planted it there. It was there, and it was just very bad timing because we freaked ourselves out. But then I watched it again not long ago because my partner hadn't seen it. And it's not a bad movie. It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. I've actually bought that in 2 foreign, so I'm just gonna buff that away with this concealer brush. So yeah, not a bad movie. Basically the whole premise of it is it's these stupid dolls that everyone's going mad for. He's called Good Time Buddy. Is it Good Time Buddy, or have I made that up? Good Guy Doll, not Good Time Buddy. That sounds a little bit more sinister than it needs to be. So anyway, there is these good guy dolls that everybody in America are losing their minds for, and then there is a criminal on the loose. He ends up breaking into a warehouse. I think he's like a sorcerer, or he has some sort of magic powers, and he gets shot and he puts his powers as he's dying into the doll. There's a woman who works in a department store and she manages to get one. I think there's something wrong with it, so she takes it home for her son because he really, really wants one. The kid's really, 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 really annoying. He's so young. At the beginning he's making breakfast for his mum, and I remember thinking he shouldn't be making breakfast for her. He's far too young to be in the kitchen and operating the toaster. I think he's like around 5 or something. Anyway, this doll, I've got a lipstick on your teeth. Anyway, this doll is possessed, comes to life. The doll, when he talks, sounds like an older, well, middle-aged man who smokes a lot. And basically it's just an evil doll. I can't remember if it's trying to protect the kid because he's imprinted on the kid, and he just starts like killing people, pushes one of the woman's friends out the window. And it's just a very, you know, typical 80s graphic slasher kind of movie. It's not that great from what I can remember. I do remember right at the end when I think the mum realises it's the doll at some point. It was quite a while ago when I've seen it. I just remember that no matter what they do to this doll, it just keeps coming back to life. Even when it's just teeth and eyes and like a molten like skeleton of a doll. Skeleton, not skeleton. It's still coming back to life. It's just a bit silly. Did I enjoy it? I thought it was okay. It was a daft movie that just a perfect Friday night film. And it was definitely something that like was hyped back in the day because there was nothing of its kind at the time. I'm just taking Good Guys and I'm just putting that lighter shade all over the front of the lid and buffing it into that dark colour as well. The Bride of Chucky, it just got sillier and sillier as the franchise went on, I believe. Bride of Chucky was like, it was just daft. It had that woman, what is she called? I can never ever remember her name. She's got that really husky voice. She plays Tiffany. Let's see if I can find her. Jennifer Tilly? Is that her name? It is her name. She's in Liar Liar. She is Chucky. I can't remember what happens. I think she's just a normal person, like an actual human. and then somehow her spirit ends up inside of the doll. And within that movie, you see a doll's first sex scene. Is it that movie? Or is it The Seed of Chucky? It's kind of like what happens in Team America. So stupid. I'm sure there is a reference to, should we use protection? And he says something about being made of plastic, rubber. I don't know, that could be making that up. But I watched the new Child's Play last night, which is the most recent one. It is from 2019. I actually watched this for the first time on the plane when I went back to England. I've got a very deep set here, and I don't know if it's actual eyeshadow or if it's, I don't know if it's eyeshadow or if it's shadow. I can't tell. I think it's eyeshadow. I'm just going to take my concealer brush. My god, how often do I do that in these videos? And I'm just buffing in here to kind of lighten that up because I don't want it all the way up to there. So I watched this on a plane, was very conscious of the fact there was a small child sat near me, and it was watching the movie as I was watching it, and it is quite graphic, and I was concerned, but then I thought, you know what, the parents should be keeping an eye on them. It's got nothing to do with me, I'm not there to parent their child. Okay, I am going to darken this up using the EO2, and I'm going to go into, it is Free Hugs, which is, I think, is just a black. So yeah, the one I watched yesterday, the good guy doll, is a smart doll. So it's made by something called, I want to say it's like Tesla. Loads of products created by this Tesla. The good guy doll is just one of them, so you can tell it to do stuff similar to an Alexa. So this little boy lives with his mum. He wants one of, I don't know if he wants one of these dolls, but he's talking about it. And he's showing his mum videos of this doll. It cuts to the company where the dolls are made, and it's an Asian country, and there's mistreatment of the employees. There's a guy who's working on the production line, and his manager comes up and tells him that he's worthless, and he slaps him and tells him that he's sacked. So he kind of snaps a bit, and he takes and removes all of the safety protocols to sabotage. He then kills himself, which seems like a bit of an odd choice, because he's not going to obviously see the payoff of him sabotaging it. David tried to explain it to us, and he just said, oh, he's just snapped. He wants to fuck somebody's life up, and then he kills himself and takes his own life. I just didn't, I didn't understand that. I thought you would want to see like the payoff of it kind of thing. I'm just intensifying that first colour again around the edge where I've just added that black. So Aubrey Plaza is the mum. She's a single mum, she's got a shit job, she's got a really smart kid, but she seems like more like your sister. She slips, if you've seen Parks and Rec, she slips into April really easily, that character. Calls him like dude and stuff. She's not a very mature ma'am. The toy is returned to the store she works for because it seems faulty. The woman says that the eyes are turning red, so she takes it home to her kid. She's hooking up with a truly hideous man, which annoys me as a movie trope. Awful, there's nothing redeeming about him. He not abuses her, but he just kind of disregards her feeling. He doesn't have any respect for her, he doesn't have any respect for her son. It's just awful. Like, she is obviously Aubrey Plaza, so she's gorgeous, and then there's just this piece of shit man, which obviously the son doesn't like. So while he's got this Chucky doll, he's talking about how he doesn't like the boyfriend. So you can kind of see where this is going. Chucky learns to use a knife by watching the son make a sandwich. The kid, I think it's called Andy. So he's making a sandwich, and as when he's finished making his sandwich, his mum's just chilling against the bench talking to him behind, and then he just goes and sticks the knife into the chopping board so it's like upright like that, and then ow, you see Chucky go, and like, I'm like, what an aggressive thing for a, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 year old, whatever he is, like to do that and then stick the knife. If you were his mum, you'd be like, sorry, what are you doing? But she's just like, yeah, cool, great. She doesn't see a thing. It's very weird. So that's how he learns to stab people. Obviously he learns to hate the boyfriend as the kid doesn't like him, and he reacts to anything that hurts him, which results in Chucky choking the cat, which I found quite upsetting, because the cat scratches the kid. I'm going to, before I do anything on the bottom lash line, I'm going to start putting some shimmers on. So I'm going to use this darkest one, which is Your Pal since '98. It's like a dark shimmer. Ooh, it's very, very pigmented. Look at that. Can you see that picking up? I'm going to spray it though. Do I need to put some glitter glue on? Yes. I'm going to use all of the things at my disposal to make sure this doesn't have fallout. Do you want to be a bit closer? Nah. You've been far away all of this time. Maybe we'll bring you closer for sparkles, hey? Is that better? How about now? So, once Andy realises that Chucky is willing to do what he's saying, or basically can tell him to do whatever he wants, and that he's not one of these good guy dolls that has safety protocols, he uses them to scare the boyfriend, and which is how it all begins. Ooh, I like that. It's just like a very wet, slick looking colour. Doesn't have loads of sparkle in. Yeah, that's really, really lovely. I like that a lot. I'm going to put my phone here. I made notes, that's why I keep looking down. But I can't see because of my lights. So the kid makes friends with other kids in the building, and they get Chucky to pinch things and do their bidding. And they make the mistake of watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with this doll that is obviously evil. Such a weird thing to do, because it's obviously influenced by stuff and it's been copying off them. They're watching this Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're watching, you know, all of the hideous things that happen in there. Chucky sees them laughing, so he goes into the kitchen, grabs himself a knife, and they see a shadow on the wall of him behind them, and he's going to stab the friend. So they have to pin him down, and they have to take the knife off him. Ooh, that's really nice too. This is Chucky and Tiff Forever. I feel like this has got holographic sparkles in it a little bit. Nice. Very, very nice. Oh, I forgot to mention, when he walks into the room, he says, "Heads up, bitch. Heads up, bitch," because that's what they're saying in the movie, I think. So he's repeating, and they initially start laughing that he's doing it, but then they obviously realise that he's serious and he's going to stab them bitches. So they pin him down, take the knife off him. Chucky, you do feel sorry for him, because he's really upset that he's made Andy mad, and then Andy starts going out without him and not taking him with him, and Chucky's very sad, and he's very melancholy and sitting in the room, and he's like, "Can we play now?" and all this stuff, and he just starts feeling sorry for this goddamn doll, which is evil. So he starts rebelling. He wants Andy to spend time with him again, but he gets locked away in the cupboard, and because he's locked in the cupboard, he doesn't like it, and he can hear him during the night trying to get out. Then Andy goes to school, comes home the next day, and he finds that Chucky has killed the cat. Very troublesome scene. He throws the cat in a box down the garbage chute, which is where everything seems to go that he wants to hide, not really understanding that it's going to land in a bin in the basement, but hey ho. I'm going to put Wanna Party, which is the lightest shimmer shade that I talked about. Does it have holographic sparkle then? It does. I'm not too sure about that second shade I put on, but I'm going to put that in the inner corner, like that. And just fluff it about. There we go. Oh, that's so pretty. I am just going to do this just to make sure we're all good. I'm not going anywhere this afternoon. This is hilarious that I'm going to be sat in the house like this. But what else is new? So Annie's very upset, obviously realises that Chucky is evil, is lying in bed one night, and Chucky is in the corner of the room and he's replaying the audio of him killing the cat. It is truly, truly terrifying. because his eyes are glowing, not red, blue, and it's quite terrifying, quite disturbing. The piece of shit boyfriend obviously assaults the kid, and obviously Chucky is enraged because he loves Andy. I'm just going to take It's Time to Play again. Am I? Or do I want to put some of the wine colours along the bottom? No, I'm going to do some wine colours along the bottom. Okay, what we got? I think I want to take this one here, Till Death Do Us Part, and then blend it out with Scarier Than Ever. Can you see that? Did you see that? Can you see that? You seen that? Till Death Do Us Part. Just picking it up on an EO4. I don't think I showed you the brush I used for the shimmer before. Oh yes, I did. That was a EO1. I showed you that before with the sparkles on it. So obviously, piece of shit boyfriend assaults Andy. Chucky sees it. Andy says things like, I wish you was dead. I wish you wasn't here. He decides to take matters into his own little grubby hands. He goes after the boyfriend. The boyfriend has an argument with Aubrey Plaza, the mum, and he goes home to his wife and kids, also cementing the fact that he is an absolute piece of poop. The fact that man could get more than one woman is actually astounding to me. That's probably more unrealistic than the doll coming to life. He kills him. The murder scene is vaguely reminiscent of a scene that is in Sinister, I think that's what it's called. It's a lawnmower scene, if you know that scene. Awful. He is got Christmas lights around his neck. The lawnmower is chewing up the Christmas lights and dragging them closer to the blades. And he manages to stop it, but then Chucky jumps on top of him and stabs him while shouting, "This is for Tupac," which I think is something that he learned from the kids in the building. I think they were trying to get him to do a video where he was stabbing a unicorn while saying "this is for Tupac." Did he say "this is for Tupac"? I'm starting to doubt myself now because it doesn't really make any sense. But it was hilarious at the time. Well, to me it was, if that's actually what he said. And then his scalp, because he's getting stabbed, scalp comes off and it flies and it lands on a gnome. Now, the scene where he's watching Texas Chainsaw and what he would have seen in that now plays into the next part of his little vicious murder spree. Andy wakes up in the morning and there is the boyfriend's face on a watermelon wrapped in a bowl. So naturally, he freaks out, calls his friends. The friends are hilarious. They're so funny. They come over and they're trying to think of a way to get rid of the head. And the only way they can think about getting rid of it is by wrapping it like a present. They get caught by Aubrey Plaza and she says, "Why aren't you at school?" And my question is, why do you not know that your kid's not at school? He's in the house, you're in the house. Why do you not know that he hasn't gone to school? She asks him what the present is. I'm just gonna spray this. I'm putting some of the It's Showtime, this one here. I'm gonna put that along the bottom lash line, just in the front part. Just to add a little bit more sparkle. How do we like that? I'm just gonna buff this a little bit more. So he says he's going to give it to the neighbour lady and he gives it to the neighbour lady, which is sort of hilarious because he's trying to indicate to her, like, the woman's quite astute and she picks up something's wrong, so he makes her promise her not to open it. So there's a face on a watermelon wrapped in a bow, wrapped in wrapping paper with the neighbour lady, which was quite hilarious. They end up pulling out Chucky's battery. He ends up in the basement where, you know, everything goes, and it's found by the creepy caretaker guy who brings him back to life. Chucky obviously kills him. I'm not too sure on his motive for doing that because he seems that he's only killing people who Andy doesn't like, and he hasn't expressed any sort of distaste to this guy. But I mean, he definitely deserves it because he's got cameras set up in Andy's mum's bathroom. in Aubrey Plaza's bathroom. It's a pretty graphic scene involving a circular saw, which was quite gruesome. I think overall the movie itself isn't a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but it's made better by the characters and the people who are in it. It's got some good action. The young kids are brilliant, they're my favourite. The cop's great as well. Basically the gore, it's very, very gory, and I find that extremely lazy because of the fact you've got a doll that is possessed, or like, you know, is a sentient being but evil. I think it's scary enough. You don't need to have all the gore, but there is plenty of it. Plenty of it. All the best people die, pretty much. There's a redhead, the young girl, the redhead in it. I hope I'm as cool as what she is in a crisis. She's just so cool. She knows exactly what to do. She's just not messing about. Saves everybody. She's the badass of the entire movie. So the movie kind of closes out with Chucky. The kid overpowers Chucky. The mum rips the head off with some "stay the fuck away from my kid" kind of carry on. It was okay. Not a huge fan of the Chucky movies per se, and like I say, it was entertaining. Only, if not only, because of the characters and the actors that were in it. I have got an Alexa and I've got a RoboVac. That might eat me feet, I don't know. Fun fact, the voice of Chucky is Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker is Chucky. Hilarious. You only find that out at the end when it comes up on the credits. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I'm just going to chuck in a pencil in my waterline and some mascara, and I'll be back and we'll finish up the video comparing the collections. Okay, we're back. Here's a final look with the eye pencil and the mascara and no clips. I've just had my hair done today. Sometimes I hate the way it gets blow dried. Today's one of those days. I feel like a nana. Anyway, let's talk about the collections. So, I think in terms of movie franchises, the edge definitely goes to Freddy. This is just too silly for me. No, it's just definitely something I probably wouldn't watch again. I would watch Freddy again, though. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. In terms of the collections, now, we've got the two blush palettes, so let me just put them side by side. They are very similar, but I think I'm more drawn to this one because of the fact that there's that dark shade. I think if you didn't have that, these two would essentially be the same thing. So I think Freddy has the edge when it comes to the blush palettes. The lips, there was two lips within the Freddy one. They're very, very similar. Look at the colours. So similar. So I really like this lip, to be honest with you. But I also really like this one as well. So I don't actually think any of them have got, or any of them are better than the other one. In terms of the eyeshadow palette, I would be keen to play with this more. It's going to be very, I mean, smoky is my jam. I think the looks are all going to be very similar with what you can create with this. I don't think there is too much diversity, but I do enjoy the different tones in it. However, the look that I created with this palette, there's not going to be too much diversity. You could go quite light, you could go quite neutral, and then obviously you're very sparkly. Oh, I loved the look that I created with this. Like even just the sparkles and the greens, it was just, yeah, it was definitely one of my favourites. I'm going to give it a Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the collection is better than what it was with Chucky. I have got a second palette for the Nightmare on Elm Street, so I'm excited to try that. It's red, silver and black. I don't know how I'm going to get on with that. I don't think I've tried any red eyeshadows from Glamlite. Have I? I don't think so, so I am excited to try it. There's some new horror collections that I am desperately waiting to be released. They did do a sneak peek on TikTok this morning, but it was pretty much just the packaging, which I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in the packaging. So I'm hoping to get a few more episodes out of this kind of series. I do definitely have the second Nightmare on Elm Street palette to play with. I just need something to pit it against. I've heard there's going to be a second Ghostface release, there's going to be a Halloween release, and there's going to be a Trick or Treat release. I very much enjoy talking about makeup. I very much enjoy talking about movies. I like to talk about where I was when I watched the movie, the nostalgia attached to it, that kind of thing. So I definitely want to continue doing this. I do. Thank you very much for watching. If you did, let me hear your thoughts on the movie franchises. Let me hear your thoughts on the actual makeup. Do you enjoy collabs? Because I never used to be one for collabs, and now I love them. I don't know why. I don't know what changed. I actually watched one of the videos of mine the other day where I said, I'm not fond of collabs. But yet here I am. Here I am. But if you did watch, give this video a thumbs up, because it really does help. I've noticed a little bit of growth on my channel, which I'm very, very proud of. And if you want to subscribe, please do so. I would love to see you again. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.